Here comes the nasty gram.
Send a priest to save my soul, forget it.
Welcome back to the Nasty Gram RPG podcast. This is the Boston Masquerade, Chapter 5, Machinations.
Feeling it too hard is the poison to the heart of a cynic.
Hey, this is Jake, and I'm going to be your storyteller this evening.
What's good, fam? You got Matt. I'm playing Javi Morales, the Ventru Taylor Cleaner, played by Pedro Pascal.
Hey everyone, Dan here. I am playing Quintus Lazar, the Tremere phlebotomist.
Hey folks, it's John. I am playing Z, the Bruja hacker.
Hey, it's Ryan coming at you as Ethan Crane, the real estate mogul bro.
This is Josh. I'm playing Larry Murphy, the Nosferatu with the best bedside manner in the business.
And helping me out with a little intro scene.
Hey, this is Devin, and I'll be playing Mr. Boyle.
Okay, so before we get started tonight, I just want to let everyone know what we're doing is slightly different. We're doing sort of home scenes. So everything that's going to happen tonight is kind of up to the players. We've done a little bit more communication behind the scenes than we usually do, but all of these scenes are still completely improv. We haven't scripted anything except for what you're going to hear at the intro as usual. But the players have told me kind of what they want to do. We've made an order for scenes, and I'm really throwing it in their court tonight. So it should be interesting. I feel like a listener. There's been about a month of downtime in the game, and people have also spent some experience. So guys, when we get to your scenes, if you want to mention, what your character has been doing over the last month, if you've spent points that you want to mention, so that people know, if you think it's significant, let us know. If your character maybe looks a little different or something like that, basically do whatever you want. So without further ado, I am actually going to have Devin help me with a little intro scene here. If Daniel, could you relinquish control of your microphone?
Yes, of course.
If you could hit the music for me, we'll get started.
We need to meet. Usual place, 20 minutes. Z hits send on the message to Jackal. Pieces are moving now, and it was all accelerated by the Elysium. The diner in Manchester is nearly empty as Jackal shows up and sits down across from Z. Okay, spill it. Right to business as usual. Yeah, so the Elysium was certainly interesting. Met with it at La Sombra. Lydia Marlowe seems she saw the writing on the wall and turned on her Sabbat folks back in 98. She's been enjoying the mercy of the Camarilla ever since. Might be a good candidate to help us out. Tried making inroads with Wamsutta, but Larry got to him first. Seemed like they were having a heart-to-heart, so I left it be. Javi was doing the political thing and trying to make amends with Leonidas and the rest of the Tremere, and his progeny was doing the same with Sydney. Quintus, for whatever reason, decided to talk to Melanie, but I don't know how fruitful that was. The trial was quick. Fiona gave us all the floor, and I spoke my piece, saying that such a dangerous and unpredictable kindred should not be given quarter. Had a few agreements from the crowd, but I guess Quintus's argument was the most convincing. And he was given 50 years to study whatever malady beset Sergei. Fiona gave us the dollhouse as repayment, so we have some influence in the city now. I know the other anarchs are getting restless, but this is a delicate operation, Jackal. We do it my way for now.
We see Fiona sleeping, fully clothed on a bed that is still made. She's indistinguishable from a corpse until her pale blue eyes suddenly open.
As the rumors go, she was captured by a Saxon lord when she was a child. She was taken to his keep to be put on display. You see, the Toreador need to surround themselves with beautiful things. If they don't, they become increasingly agitated and distracted. It's a flaw that can be more debilitating than the ugliest Nosferatu or the craziest Malkavian.
The room is sparse and modern. Soft recessed lights turn on automatically from her movement as she stands and moves towards the door.
After years of living alone like a pet on display in his home, the Lord decided to embrace her, to make sure her beauty was preserved eternally.
We see 2 security guards flanking her bedroom door as the doors swing open. She walks down a hallway decorated with weapons, axes, spears, swords.
She's not like the others in her clan. She wasn't chosen because she was a great artist or musician.
Daggers, longbows, crossbows.
But the blood is strong, and it changes you. Her passion is the art of war.
Halberds, glaives, pikes.
She finds beauty in order and discipline, so she surrounds herself in it. She bends the whole city to her idea of order.
Muskets, revolvers, and rifles.
And if someone disrupts that beauty,
We see a pair of hand axes, not on display, but set on a table near the end of the hallway. Fiona walks past and enters a parlor where we see Sydney waiting for an audience.
well, you witnessed the siege of Boston for yourself, Larry. You know what she's capable of.
We see Larry and his sire, Mr. Boyle, in Larry's Haven. Josh, please describe Larry's Haven.
Larry's Haven is a abandoned automotive shop with a new shingle hung outside. Murphy Animal Control. It is dark, stained with oil, tall ceilings, scattered furniture, and along the walls in the back corner, which is closed off with stairs leading to a damp cellar, are a variety of animals, stuffed. Pigeons, seagulls, squirrels, rats, a sickly deer. There's a few others in various stages of being crafted, and a couple very worn stuffed armchairs that Larry's not used to welcoming guests in.
Mr. Boyle is sitting in one of the armchairs, picking at a boiling scab growing on his arm. He glances up. His eyes are a sort of murky green, almost like a body that sat in the water for too long.
Well, Mr. Boyle, I know you wanted to talk to me.
I wanted to congratulate you. Domain. Not many achieve that.
Yes, it is something I've wanted, but I don't know, it feels different. I didn't think I'd ever be part of a coterie.
Will you be moving in?
I don't know. I like it here. It's homey.
He looks around and says, it may be good for you. There's safety, you know, and others who can provide skills that you can't. And you have skills that they could also benefit from.
Yes, I'm just... It's different for me, Mr. Boyle. I don't usually feel safe when I'm around others. But they are all skilled in their way.
There comes a point where the cub needs to leave. Needs to go out and find its own pack.
I think I understand. I felt like the Elysium went well.
Didn't go as I expected, that's for sure. It's not often that you see, I dare not call it compassion, but whatever it was Fiona displayed.
I think she just wants... I think to her, Sergei's worth more still existing.
He nods. You know, a lot of people think you're a lot dumber than you are. You do it on purpose, don't you?
Maybe a little.
They don't understand how much you really see.
I think some start to. It's maybe the first time I've felt like some of them, not all, some of them look at me like I belong. Alexander, maybe a couple others.
It's time for you to leave. Go out and find your own pack. They're a good bunch. But, how long have we known each other?
25 years and 9 months.
It's time for you to be your own. Don't just go under Javier's wing. Be your own. He's an equal, not your new master.
Larry nods very thoughtfully. Okay, Mr. Boyle. You're still my sire.
I'll be around. I don't plan on going anywhere. After all, we all know Fiona won't be here forever. And when there's a seat to be filled, why not a Nosferatu? He gets up. The dirty old armchair creaks. He makes his way towards the door. He pats, what's his name? Johnny on his way. He says, stay in touch.
I will, Mr. Boyle. Thank you. After Mr. Boyle leaves, Johnny walks over. He leans down to Johnny's food bowl. There's still some berries and beetles, his favorite combination. Larry pulls a large skinning knife from his belt, and he just cuts along the side of his palm a little bit, makes a fist, and squeezes some blood over the top of it. There you go, Johnny. As Johnny starts eating, Larry looks at him and says, I guess it's time we figured out what exactly we want from this world, Johnny.
All right. Hey, Johnny.
Yeah.
John. Rockin' club music.
Mm-hmm.
John.
Yeah.
You are sitting at the bar of a restaurant, actually just a few blocks away from the dollhouse, right on the river. It's in the basement of this building, and it has a sort of Mexican Day of the Dead theme. It's very dark in here, brick walls, red lighting. Beyond the bar, all the bottles on the bar, is this huge stained glass window that lights the bar area where you're sitting. And you look over your shoulder, and you see him sitting at a table with a woman, much younger than him. It angers you how much you look like him. Although obviously he's a bit older.
Yeah.
Waitress walks by and says, "Can I get you another one?"
Sure. Sits there kind of contemplating what to do, getting a bit angrier. Says to himself, no, not another one. He waits until his dad walks away from the table, going to the bathroom.
Okay.
And he walks up to the table where the woman is sitting. Says, can I buy you a drink?
She looks at you and smiles, and you can tell by the 3 empty margarita glasses on the table that she's pretty drunk.
Yep.
She doesn't recognize you, but she seems a little confused. And she says, I'm sorry, but I'm actually with somebody.
Oh, sorry about that. Z kind of stumbles into her and is going to surreptitiously take her phone from her purse.
Okay. Sorry
about that.
Give me a dexterity and larceny.
Yeah.
And add your ranks and celerity.
Okay. 1 hunger. Dexterity. Where's my larceny?
Unless there's a more fitting skill. Is there a sleight of hand? I assumed it.
I think it's
it fell
larceny.
I think
under
larceny is it.
Because there's, they make the distinction between larceny and like streetwise.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. 3 successes.
She kind of laughs. Maybe you shouldn't have another one.
Maybe. Well, sorry to bother you, miss.
She goes, "Oh, it's not a bother. It's kind of nice."
And he heads back to the bar. And he starts poking around on the phone.
Okay.
Gets her name. Gets her social media profile.
Mm-hmm.
Friends himself. Sends her a DM with the police reports of the domestic abuse that he committed against his mother.
Nice.
Then walks out the bar. Just kind of tosses the phone in the purse. And heads out into the night.
Awesome. Quintus.
Yes.
It's just after dark, and you are walking into STEM Express,
Yeah. My favorite place.
here to replenish your supply. Who do you see when you walk in?
As Quintus walks through the door, the laboratory itself has a large waiting room. It's sterile, not very well appointed. Clearly, they could use a designer's touch. The chairs kind of ring the outside of the room, and there's one woman sitting there. It looks like she must have come in after work, waiting to donate blood. And her name is Chloe Duval.
What's Chloe look like?
Chloe is kind of an average height, maybe 5'7", 5'8". She's petite in terms of her stature, and she has shoulder-length blonde hair and dark green eyes.
She gives you a smile.
As Quintus sits down sort of across from her in this narrow waiting room, he says, "Bonjour."
Hi. She is kind of looking at her cell phone. She doesn't know you, right?
No, she doesn't. I remember having seen her come in to donate on a number of different occasions when I would come to this facility to use the blood for my medical research and not for feeding.
She kind of just looked up and said hi really quickly and then went back to her phone. And then she stops and she puts it away. And she says, "Do you work here?"
No. I am just here to donate. Like you. Are you here for the same?
She nods. I feel like I've seen you around, though.
I must have a familiar face. What brought you in? What makes you give yourself?
That's I've never heard I've never heard anyone call it that.
Quintus kind of shrugs. It is your lifeblood.
I mean, I don't really have a great story on I know a lot of people, they have like a sick parent or something like that, or maybe, their life was saved by someone's donation. I'm kind of boring. I just do it because it's the right thing to do.
I do not think good charity is boring. It is rare, exceedingly rare. Is it not?
It is. I mean, I guess that's why I come as often as I can.
And you have no say as to how it's used, for good or bad.
Well, why would it be bad?
Quintus shrugs. Not all lives are worth saving, no?
I don't know. I think everyone can be redeemed. I think everyone deserves a second chance, or even a third.
I hope you are right.
The door opens, and it is your friend Brian. He looks at you, pretends he doesn't recognize you, and then says, "Miss Duval?" She stands up and says, "It was really nice meeting you," and reaches out a hand.
He kind of takes it and kind of gently shakes it and says, "Likewise."
She goes in. Ethan,
Yeah.
You're at the dollhouse. The house lights are on. It's the middle of the week. The club isn't reopened yet. You have somehow gotten the job of interviewing the new employees and existing employees who weren't here the night of the massacre.
I'm going to ask Z and Javi if either of them want to back me up.
Yeah. Either you want to be here for this or both.
Yeah.
Yeah, Z will sit
Nice.
around.
All right. So the three of you are sitting at a table.
Thanks for coming out, guys. I'm kind of a one-man wolf pack when it comes to this stuff. So not like usually doing the hiring thing. So this is gonna be new to me.
I thought you owned a business, Ethan.
I am the business. I just kind of buy real estate and then sell it. I have many corporations, but yeah, it's just me.
See me.
Well, this should be interesting.
It's no problem. I'll let you do the talking. I just make sure you don't make any mistakes.
All right. Thanks, Poppy.
The first person to come in is Dakota. Dakota Lee, 22-year-old, sort of Asian features. You all know her. You know her quite well, Ethan, excuse me.
Yeah.
She sits down and says, you're the new owner?
You sound surprised.
Well, I mean, I guess do what you love, right? I mean, you were like one of my best clients.
Well, yeah.
And now you own the place?
I thought I needed to kind of stay with us, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Co-owner.
Yes.
She winks and says, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know. So, I mean, do I really need to interview?
No. unless either you guys have any questions. I was going to keep it pretty, if anyone who's in the know already from the old staff can, just come right back in if you're interested. So
I'm interested.
awesome. All right, we just got some forms you'll have to sign. But I'll ask Z if he has any questions, or Javi.
I mean, this business isn't my business, so I think Ethan has us on lock.
She says, all right, I'll fill these out. She grabs the papers and goes and sits at the bar and starts filling them out.
If you have any questions about the NDA, it's pretty standard stuff, but you can just let me know.
She turns towards the door to make sure no one else has come in yet and says, vampire NDA. Seriously.
Are we keeping it the blood doll? Or
Dawes?
She looks at the NDA. What does it say? What is the name of the business?
It's not listed
Okay.
yet. It's it says Kindred Irrevocable Trust
She says, I do have one.
Incorporated.
I do have one request.
All right.
Can you guys not call me your little dolls like Sergey did?
Yeah, it's really creepy.
Cool.
Yeah.
You see that? It's a bit odd.
Yeah, we're gonna take things in a different direction. The whole like dollhouse thing was,
Bring it into the 21st century.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
She sits there and fills out the forms while you interview a few other people.
While she's sitting there, you're watching her. You see her like stop for a second and kind of move her hand towards like the back of her neck and look around a little bit behind her.
Larry, the sexual harassment officer.
HR nightmare.
That's what the NDA is for, right there.
Do any of you guys have Sense the Unseen?
No.
Nope.
I'm not there though.
And then she goes back to filling out her papers.
Someone, go ahead.
Josh,
Snooper.
you hear a familiar voice as Ethan is interviewing a young woman. Ethan, why don't you give me a roll of, let's see. I'm going to say intelligence and insight.
4 successes.
Wow.
On 4 dice.
The girl you're interviewing, her name is Chelsea Sterling. She's obviously very nervous, and you're pretty sure that there are some lies on her application.
Mm-hmm.
For one, you don't think she's 21.
Mm-hmm.
You're not sure if her previous job history is true.
Huh.
She says, "Yeah, so I can tend bar or wait tables. I've done it all."
Oh, you've you tended a bar before?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Whereabouts?
Actually, right down the street at Lolita's.
Yeah. Right. Any of your references on here?
She nods.
What year did you graduate high school?
You can tell by the hesitation, the doing math in her head. And she says, 2018?
Okay. So I'm gonna have to stop you right there.
2017.
I'm gonna have to stop you right there. And this is a bar. We'll be serving alcoholic beverages. We can't have any underage staff here.
I'm not underage.
Is this you? He slides his laptop around, and it clearly shows her name, class of 2019.
She gets very quiet and says, "Look, I really need a job. I'm sorry, I lied, but I could work in the kitchen."
Work in the kitchen. Do you have experience in the kitchen?
I'm a quick learner.
Quick learner. Huh. I mean, I guess my question is we can't be the only place hiring around here, right, guys? So what brought you here in particular when there are probably other jobs available?
My sister used to work here.
Your sister?
Paige Sterling. She said it was a really great place to work. You think she's lying about that last part?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we'll have to have a chat about it. It's kind of unorthodox, you know. You don't really have any kitchen experience, but we'll let you know.
I understand. I'm sorry about lying. She gets up and leaves.
Paige Sterling?
Yeah.
Larry's met her.
Yeah.
She's
She doing her Nancy Drew thing?
See, she's the one that disappeared that night, huh? She wasn't in the car.
Well, I mean, she's the one who was made to disappear.
See,
As he turns his laptop around, and like the first post is like a memorial for Paige. He's like, can't believe I didn't see that. We have to keep an eye on her.
John, as you start to look at that, you see that there's a like, you know, social media page, find page, you know, findpage.com, like all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
It's actually like getting pretty big.
Yeah.
Because she's, you know, a pretty white girl from an affluent family by the looks of it. Like there's been news stories, like her parents have like, you know, have spoken at like vigils and stuff like that. Like it's Fine Page is getting a lot of traction around the city.
So Poppy, Z, here's what I'm wondering. Because she's going to poke around no matter what. So is it better to have her where we can watch her and where we have a better idea of what's going on and where we can find out what's going on? Or do we try to keep her out of here?
Shit. This Fine Page group has like 6,000 shares and like 15,000 likes already. And that's just Boston, man. They got some pull or something.
This is no good. I don't think either is a good option. I think she's gonna make some trouble for us unless we come up with a story. Having her work here, I think that opens up a bigger can of worms, no?
Yeah, I mean, she'll have access, and that's the problem. She goes snooping around in the wrong places. Yeah. Yeah, no, we can't have that hanging around.
All right. Well, Lizzie, when you get the security all set up around here, make sure our hires all know what she looks like.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Of course.
All right, moving along. Quintus and Larry move into the basement.
Aww.
Aww.
Dan, why don't you describe the scene?
So, over the last few weeks, Quintus has enlisted Larry to, with the help of his van. You know, everyone needs a friend with a van or a truck.
+1 charisma if you have a van.
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
To empty out one of his storage units that has a lot of his medical laboratory equipment that he tucked away before his company folded. And what they discovered when they were at the dollhouse, they were looking for a room large enough to have access for all the lab equipment. There's a cargo elevator in the back of the building that goes to the basement floor and goes up to the 5th. It's what they used to expand the 5th floor when they put on the penthouse apartment. And when they went down into the basement and they started to move some of the shelving structures down there, behind one of the shelves, it looked like a bomb shelter door. And when Quintus and Larry pried it open, it turned out that Sergei, having been in the city for so long, purchased this building not just for the commercial properties, but because it sat on top of one of the old defunct subway stations to the Boston Underground. And sprawling kind of before them and underneath this building is access to these tunnels and to a station and some sort of outbuilding rooms that accompanied the station as well.
Okay. You get this door open into this station, sort of perfectly preserved. No one's been down here. There's no other discernible way in. So there's no graffiti or trash or anything. And it has this sort of like 1950s, like Art Deco feel to it. A little bit of water damage on the walls and the floors, but for the most part, the tile is intact. You guys make your way in there with some flashlights and you're just kind of swinging them back and forth.
I remember this place. This is Charles Station. I came here when I was a kid, once with my mother. I remember how new it seemed.
Do you think others have access to this place, Larry?
I don't think so. The only people here are my kind. He gives you a creepy smile as behind him you see a couple rats scurry around. No graffiti, no bedding, no needles. If they aren't here, then no one's been here.
This is good for us, then. It is a place that we can build.
And we can connect from.
Quintus nods his head kind of slowly, looking like turning his head and his flashlight out into the darkness and peers down like a tunnel as he says that.
Cool.
Maybe I will find a place here after all.
Cool.
Meanwhile, upstairs in the club, or perhaps on one of the higher floors, John?
Yeah, upstairs.
You're meeting with Lydia.
Yes.
She comes in, and her assistant waits at the door, and she sits down.
Good of you to come, Lydia.
No, good of you to see me. I do appreciate it.
Well, I'm eager to help.
She looks around and says, "You'll be reopening it?"
Yeah, short order. There in this room is kind of his staging for a lot of the security. So it was like computer parts and like cameras and badge security pieces, just like strewn about this like L-shaped desk with a laptop in front of him.
She kind of dissociates for a moment,
Yeah.
looking at all these electronics, and she says, "I hope that you can understand how I feel someday. It is amazing how much our world has changed in so little time."
I'm sure we'll all feel the age at some point.
Things like this, my children would never have dreamed that they were possible.
Just imagine what's possible in the future.
Yes, if we don't all kill each other.
True. Well, what can I do for you?
Well, it's quite simple, and I'm willing to offer something in return. She takes out a piece of paper, and there are some IP addresses on it, some passwords. She says, "I don't really know what any of this means, but the man who I convinced to give me this information, he seemed convinced that it was enough to get into the security system for this company." She hands you the paper.
Yeah. As he looks at it, yeah, they look like public IP addresses, some passwords, probably an edge firewall or something. What company, if you don't mind me asking?
They're called STEM Express. I need to get into their office, and I do not want to break the Queen's Masquerade.
Of course.
So vital. Do you know what happens when my clan are on camera?
No.
Take a look when I leave. It's problematic, and I plan to go in there illegally anyway. They have information I need. All I'm asking you to do is turn off their security system, say around 1 a.m. I only need about 20 minutes.
Should be doable. Maybe I'll make it look like a power outage with a backup failure, something like that.
What I'm willing to give you in return is information.
The most valuable resource in this city.
2 people that you need to know more about. The first is Alexander. Don't trust him. He is the Queen's lapdog.
Really?
I don't know what she has over him, but he constantly seeks her favor. He does whatever needs doing in the city, volunteers for jobs, is always the first to try to please her. Be cautious. Be careful what you say around him. And don't underestimate him. He is more than just a wolf. He's conniving.
That's good to know.
The other is Sydney, the young Tremere. She's been seen going into the tower. You know, when people say the tower, they mean the Hancock building, which is where Fiona lives. She says she's been seen going into the tower on many occasions.
That's odd for such a young one to have that kind of access.
It is. I don't think it's anything romantic. If I had to guess, I'd say she's reporting to her, probably on the machinations of the Tremere. Sydney is very new to the city. She has no ties, no loyalty. Why not have the loyalty of the Queen?
Well, it's a stable choice, I think, but you're at her whim.
Yes.
Well, that's, I'd hate to say disappointing news about Alexander.
Maybe she has something over him. I don't know, but be careful.
Well, I appreciate the information. In 1 a.m., 20 minutes, power will be out, but I'm sure that'll be fine for you.
Yes. STEM Express. She gets up and leaves. Meanwhile, Javier,
Oh, see?
you just drove to Salem, parked on the street, and you make your way to the front door.
He knocks.
The door opens, and you see both of the sisters standing about 20 feet down the hallway.
Javi will put his hands up beside his chest. Hola. You remember me?
Just one of them speaks. She says, "We will not soon forget you."
Bueno, I'll make sure you stay alive and you're,
The other one says, "You've already made sure we stayed alive. Was it you?" And then they both say, "Which of you fed us?"
It's not me, but I know who. He's a friend of mine.
And they say, "Why are you here?"
Well, I know what you are. And I know you won't last very long without someone like me.
They look towards each other. You can see already the subtle signs of their aging. They don't quite look like they're in their early 20s anymore. It's only been about a week, but it's already starting to happen. Not having vampire blood is starting to make them turn to their actual age.
I can see already. You need some help. I dare say Sergey won't be coming anymore.
What do you want?
I just want to make sure you're both okay. I don't want to see any harm come to you. And maybe you can help me.
How?
Simple. Information. I ask you some questions. You answer as best you can.
Come in.
Gracias. Javi will step foot into the door, close the door behind him.
They walk down the hall. They actually walk upstairs. As you follow them, you realize that none of the rooms in the house are furnished, except for their room on the third floor. When you catch up to them, you see the shards of broken mirror have been cleaned off the ground, but both of the mirrors are still shattered.
Sorry about that.
They stand in front of the glass doors that lead out to their little balcony. And they say, "What do you want to know?"
I'd like to know about Sergey. I want to know how he got like that. The way we found him.
I'm afraid our answer may be disappointing.
That's okay.
We don't see Sergey very often. He doesn't come here. He stays mainly in the city.
Oh, see.
He hadn't been here for several weeks.
Who else would come? Anybody?
When he's out of town or busy, he would have someone else come. Feeding his pets is what they called it.
Lo siento. I'm sorry that they phrased it like that. But you know who? Man, woman?
A young woman,
Ah, see.
dark hair.
Small? Petit?
They both nod.
See. He'll say. As she hasn't been around since, huh?
No. They say she's a vampire, but younger than us.
I see. I know who it is. How did Sergei get here that night? He arrive on his own?
He called for us.
Yeah, you
He
pick him up?
You don't understand.
Lucian, no,
He had a way of calling upon us.
We'll see.
Your friend can explain.
Yes, I had the same thought.
But yes, when he beckoned us, we came. We found him. He was already in the sleeping death. And so we took him here to keep him safe. We could not wake him.
See, even with all your abilities from him, still impossible?
They both nod.
Very
And then they
interesting.
say, perhaps if we had more time.
See? What kind of time you need?
There are things we could try to revive him. Ways to make the blood more potent.
See?
They don't realize that he's staked. They don't know that.
Yeah. Maybe you can write some of these things down. I can take it back to some people I know. Maybe help him out. For you, of course.
They look at each other, and you can tell it's not anything supernatural, but you can tell the way that they're kind of looking at each other, their micro expressions. They're essentially having a conversation right now. And one of them turns to you and says, there's something else we will give you if you promise to provide for us.
See?
I know what you're asking for us to write things down. Sergei had books. We know where they are.
Donde? Where does he keep them?
One of them gets up and goes over to the dresser and opens the top drawer, and she takes out a straight razor and a key, and she brings them both over to you, and she hands you the key, and she says, this is to the door in the basement of his house, the one in Boston.
Orle? Okay.
That is his library. And then she holds out the razor.
Javi will take the razor. You know if anybody else has a key? As he says that, he'll slit his, open up his wrist, going down and hold it out for the two of them.
One of them starts feeding, like just grabs your arm and starts drinking. And the other one, kind of looking hungrily at her sister, she says, Peter does. And then like they switch and she starts feeding.
Javi doesn't look at them feeding. He kind of averts his eyes, makes him a little uncomfortable. But
when you're finished, they have kind of cleaned the blood off their faces. And they say, we return in a week.
See. Is there anything I can get for you? It's quite sparse here. Maybe new mirrors.
Why are you being kind to us?
Is it truth?
They nod.
Pity.
Okay. Anything else? We good there?
Yeah.
Javier?
Nice.
I thought you were trying to signal me
No,
something,
no, no.
Josh.
Sorry. I was adjusting my necklace.
Ooh, a little late
Ooh.
now. We're like
Javi, did you meet up with that lady?
We're like 2/3 through.
From our last trip to Salem. After that,
Dog
go to that bar. Yeah.
He does. He
The dog
does go
walker.
to the bar
Yeah.
after meeting with the Daggett sisters and sees if she's there.
Yeah, you probably have to go feed, actually, because they just took some blood from you. Larry, did you have an idea for this scene?
Yes.
Larry Creeps.
Yep.
Okay. Take it away.
Scene 8, Larry Creeps.
Can we get some TLC in the background?
I kind of feel like that's just,
I was thinking
just his name,
Toadies.
Larry
The
Creeps.
Toadies track.
We see a urban backyard, maybe about 30 feet square, paved. Half of it's covered by a porch that comes off the back of the house it's behind. It's boxed in by tall fences on a couple sides and garages of the neighboring homes. It's nightfall. There's some floodlights on, illuminating 3 children playing. There's a swing hung under the porch that a young girl of maybe 10 is playing on, swinging, and 2 boys, 12 and 8, are running around throwing balls back and forth at each other, sort of improvised dodgeball game. The screen door creaks as the back door opens, and a woman, Sharon Murphy, calls out and says, "Kids, 15 more minutes then to them to bed, okay?" I go, "All right, Nanny." She walks back in. Kids keep playing. The ball skids back past and gets stuck in a corner of the backyard. One of the boys runs to retrieve it. "Hey, what's this?" The other 2 kids inquisitively come over. There's a paper bag. One of them opens it, pulls out a few items. There's a cloth bag. He pulls the string and out drops metal jacks and a little rubber bouncy ball. One of the others reaches in and pulls out a pack of bicycle playing cards. The boys goes, "What the hell are these?" "I don't know." Kids start kind of playing with them, tinging him off the ground. The ball goes bouncing away. One of the boys goes to follow it. The other boy loses interest. The girl walks over and looks down, picks up the last item, which is a small stuffed opossum. An actual stuffed animal, not a taxidermied one.
Gross.
She kind of looks at it and then kind of grabs it and hugs it, walks back over to the swing, sits down with it in her arms and kind of starts humming as she swings on the swing. We see, as the camera pans up, crouched on the corner of the garage in total darkness, we see Larry's face suddenly, and a small but genuine smile crosses it. And we fade out.
All right. Quintus and Z set up the laboratory. The freight elevator rumbles down to the basement level. As it's pulled open, we see Alexander Wamsutta standing next to that old wooden coffin. He rolls it into the basement, which Quintus and Z are in the process of setting up. And he says, "The prince asked that someone escort it here, but she wanted me to tell you that now it's your responsibility. She said that you, particularly Quintus, are responsible for him the same way that a sire is responsible for a progeny."
Quintus's eyes kind of go up a bit, like his eyebrows go up a bit, and says, I understand.
Everything coming together nicely, I see. He looks around. What does he see?
I think the basement is sort of an office space. I think we're going to try to keep the lower subterranean area disguised and unknown for now.
Okay.
And Quintus kind of gestures to an open space where nothing has been set up yet to leave the coffin. And Quintus says, "I hope that I can find what ails Sergei so that it does not affect all of us, yes?"
I understand that you want this to be something you can explain with science, but you're young. You don't understand. This can happen to any of us. I've never seen it this bad, but look, there are those who succumb so strongly to the beast that it actually changes them. They become a monster.
But there is always cause and reaction. observable fact, yes? And this is what science tells us. And I do believe that if I look closely enough, that I observe closely enough, Sergei's blood will tell us something.
He looks at both of you and he says, the weirdest part about modern knights, the thing that I've had the most trouble understanding, is atheists. You always think that there's some explanation, that you can figure it out. You never stop to think that maybe there are things that our brains aren't big enough to know.
I do not disagree with you, Mr. Wamseta. I do not claim atheism as my mantle. Atheism is as extreme as those that profess to know. I, on the other hand, believe that there is always something to discover.
He says, I like that.
Well, you better discover something to make this worth the while. This is going to be a headache.
He looks at you, John, and he says, it'll be secure, though?
Yes.
All right. Well, I suppose my job is done. I leave him to you.
Appreciate the help.
Merci.
One other thing. I've been working on something. I could use a hand. I know we've got a lot going on with the club and everything, but let's talk soon.
Who's he directing that comment to?
Both of you.
Both of us? Quintus nods. Kind of looks quizzically at him, but if he doesn't elaborate, he doesn't push.
Sure.
He gets in the freight elevator. He says, have a good night. And he closes it, leaving the two of you with the coffin.
You know, it would have been a lot more secure is burning that thing.
Are you so quickly to pass judgment on your own kind?
He shrugs. What happened to him, like he said, blood frenzy. And he broke the Masquerade in a big way. We could have had First Light here, could have the CIA here, could have had hunters here. We would all be dead.
But if we'd never know why he did this, why he acted this way, then we are all at risk.
Maybe.
Quintus has kind of got both hands on the top of the coffin lid, and he's just looking down at it when he kind of speaks to you. There is history here. There is information. You must appreciate that. He kind of turns and looks at you. This is data.
It is. But you stop to think that maybe the data that he was looking into caused that frenzy? That looking into who he is or what happened to him might bring that about for you?
Quintus kind of looks up and sort of smiles softly at you. If you stare into the abyss long enough, it stares back.
Yeah, that.
We shall see.
Well, we're going to get it into the subway?
Oui. And speaking of that, because he's put a dot into strength, he can help you move the coffin.
Yay!
Yeah, Z put a dot into stamina, and because he got beat up in that house a little bit, and then another in firearms and another in politics.
Oh.
Yeah, I put one into strength, so now he's got a whopping 2. I put one into Auspex, see the unseen, when he was trying really hard to see all the warding at the different places. Probably would have made Jake's life a lot easier if I had not speculated that every entrance was off limits. And I ended up taking a level 1 ritual ward against ghouls, so we can keep the ghoulies out of our
Fitting
new domain.
Yeah, you learned that one on the job.
Yeah.
But I like the ghouls.
Yeah, well, don't like them creeping in our room.
Want them creeping around.
Ryan, can you grab me a Coke?
Yeah, Coke.
Do a quick line.
Who's ready to tell a story?
That was my last vampire character.
Yeah. Meanwhile, In the tunnels.
Squeak, squeak.
Josh, I had some ideas for this. I don't know what you had planned. Are we establishing a haven?
I didn't know. I left open the idea of his current haven still existing, but tying into it. So I can actually talk about quickly Larry's mechanics, mostly just skill stuff. He put a point to occult.
Nice.
From learning a little bit more about the dark arts. He added a specialty to insight, motives. He raised his awareness from 2 to 3. And he added a specialty to his melee with his skinning blade.
Ooh.
Gross.
Yeah.
Super gross.
And then that first scene was basically a rearrangement of his advantage points. He dropped his Maula, Mr. Boyle, from 4 to 1. So now he's a very hands-off sire.
Mala is what again?
Your mentor Maula, the person that kind of looks out for you. I'd started off with that, and then kind of as part of the storyline, seeing Larry kind of stepping out on his own. And then he added those points, one to his haven, to a bonus called postern, which means connecting it to underground secret entrances.
Cool. Nice.
So I thought for now, Larry still maintains his own domain, but he can tie into this underground connections. Also added a point to status, which raised it to 2, which is an ancilla, which is basically kind of like the baseline peer level of a vampire, sort of reflecting that, Larry's done some time. He helped take the city. He's now, been a part of accomplishing a task. And then I dumped one into like a pooled domain if we end up wanting to kind of codify that.
I'm going to take this moment while we're doing this kind of bookkeeping stuff. I did want to mention, I had told you, Ryan, to take a point of status, and I said I'd explain later. So the people who were aware at Elysium, a lot of people knew that Fiona was going to give all of you the dollhouse. But for those who didn't know, what it looked like was that you asked for domain and she just said, yeah, sure. So to a lot of the kindred who were there, they're like, wow, this guy just said what he wanted and got it.
Fucking swagger. All right. Yeah.
E-Crane in the house.
Sort of it's fitting because, as usual, Ethan has just kind of stumbled into like success. Also, I want everyone to recover a point of willpower for some great role-playing / scenes with your touchstones. And Dan, I'm going to give you 2 willpower points because you also did your search for knowledge thing pretty well by convincing him to give you Sergey, but I'm also going to take a point away from you.
Yeah, I get it.
And I'm taking the point away because one of your things is to none may control me, and
I got just the opposite of that.
Yeah, literally. So it's a wash on that second point.
Cool,
but you almost got a second point.
Love it.
How about people's damage? Are we going to recover that kind of off screen?
I think I don't want to do this every time because I want it to matter. But when we pick up the next, I don't think there's going to be any combat in this session. It won't matter. But unless you guys get crazy. But when we pick up the next session, it's going to have been
I pushed
over
Z
a
downstairs.
month. So I think that all of that will have happened off screen. But
Okay.
I don't want to make that a habit because I don't want it to be irrelevant.
Yep.
Short rest.
But yeah. All right, cool. So Larry has been walking these tunnels now for a few days. You found that if you go towards the river, they get flooded out and you can't go any further. And you found that if you go the other way, it does connect to the actual subway and to some other tunnels. But the nice thing is the tunnel that you're down is pretty secluded. It doesn't seem like a lot of people have been down here. You're walking back from your haven towards the dollhouse one night, and you hear a noise. You hear ting, ting. Every so often, you just hear what sounds like something hitting metal.
Larry kind of closes his eyes for a moment, listening, and then steps further into the shadows and rouses his blood to fade away from sight and he moves towards the noise silently.
Where the main subway connects to the tunnel that leads to the dollhouse, that one sort of entrance to your part of the subway, there is a passenger cart that was left there. It blocks most of the tunnel. The reason no one's been passed is because you have to climb up onto the roof and climb across it to get into your tunnel. It's a tight squeeze. You climb up this ladder up the back of it. You go under this pretty low-hanging area. And as you do that, you hear that sound of something reverberating off the metal of this passenger cart, something hitting the side of it. Ding! Pretty sporadically, no real rhythm to it. You get to the other side where you can kind of stand straight up on top of the cart. And you see below you a young boy, maybe 12, 13 years old, throwing rocks at the side of the cart. He's wearing clothes that are obviously from another age, like, knickers.
Okay.
And he just keeps picking up rocks and angrily throwing them at the side of the train cart.
Larry silently moves past to the end of the cart, lowers himself down quietly, and then kind of closes his eyes for a moment. And then as he moves back towards the cart, you hear his boots falling, crunching on the gravel below. Fuck. I did it to myself. You fucking idiot.
The boy disappears right in front of you.
Oh. Hello there. You can come out. I'm not going to hurt you.
He comes out from behind a concrete pillar. And he says, "You scared me. You shouldn't sneak up on people like that."
I'm sorry. I thought you might be lost or in trouble. What's your name?
Sebastian. You're friends with my sister, right?
Oh. Yeah, we've met. My name is Larry. What are you doing here?
I saw you at the Elysium.
Yeah. Was that your first one?
First one here in Boston.
You came from Chicago?
He nods.
I've never been there, but I've heard about it.
It's kind of the same as here.
The first baseball game I ever saw was the Chicago Cubs versus the Boston Red Sox, 1958. The Cubs won.
He says, "I like baseball." He seems to kind of like calm down a little. He seemed almost like angry, like angsty, preteen. He says, "Actually, you can get to Fenway from here."
Really?
Yeah.
Can you show me?
Yeah, sure. He climbs up on top of the train and just starts walking.
I follow him.
He says, as he's walking, he says, me and my sister, we live down that way, below the Children's Museum. It's not far from you.
Okay. So, I don't know what the others think, but as far as I know, you found this train car first. So whether or not it's part of our domain, I say that you're free to come here whenever you want. If you ever need to get away.
Thanks. I like going to that train cart, but I won't go past it. I know you guys are down there now.
Okay, maybe you can visit sometime.
Sure. He just keeps walking.
It's like 2 5-year-olds that meet at preschool for the first day.
Larry seems, to the audience, if someone was watching and has seen Larry, he seems more comfortable around this child, regardless of the fact that it's a vampire, than he's probably seen at any point up to now. He's still awkward, but he seems just comfortable.
As you're walking, he says, My sister says your friend is haunted. Is that true?
I don't know, but I think the things he does are dangerous. And dangerous things usually have a cost. Maybe that's it.
Nice. We'll fade out from there.
Sweet.
Ethan.
So before Ethan's board meeting, I would like to share with everyone that as Larry was adventuring in the subways, my wife sent me a picture of a possum dress that she would like to own.
What?
I shit you
Is
not.
this unrelated?
This is just weirdly coincidental, but
I took a
Possum
point
news.
and heard.
yeah,
Did you?
possum dress.
No, I'm just kidding. Ryan's wife.
It's getting weird.
Yeah, hey.
I have a possum fan
The
club.
possum cult. The possum cult.
The possum posse.
Johnny Possum. Cool.
Ethan has a board meeting.
Ethan has a board meeting.
You wanted to invite a bunch of people to this?
Yeah,
Oh my lord.
All right. I think
they don't have to. They don't have to show up. Just throwing it out there.
so I think that remind me, you invited the Torador, all of the Torador and all of the Malkavians?
My thought was we had representation from the other clans. They would not have had representation at this meeting. I thought,
Maybe a rep from each.
yeah.
Melanie shows up of
Okay.
the Malkavian clan.
Weird but cool. Okay.
And
Don't say Santiago. Don't say Santiago. Don't say Santiago.
of course, Santiago. No, actually, no, not Santiago. Chloe Mason shows up.
Academy Award winning.
None of you, yeah, Chloe Mason, played by Viola Davis. She, you all know that she is a wealthy gallery owner. She owns a lot of properties in like the Newberry Street area. And she almost looks angry about being here. You know that she was
She was sent.
sent.
Yeah.
She was sent. You're all
I
set the scene.
if I know if I notice that, I will try to diffuse it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll go up to him, like, hey, Chloe, I can, hey, thank you so much for coming. I understand you're really busy. So it really means a lot to me that you came out to the meeting. So hey, thanks so much.
She just smiles.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
Cool.
So this is not a large room. Ethan has a finely tailored, thanks Poppy, navy
Got you,
blue
boo.
suit on. And for absolutely no reason, it's not even on, but he's got like a headset microphone. And then he starts a slideshow.
Dear Lord.
Ryan just whipped out a notebook.
Yeah. So it's just like just words kind of pop up. And some of them, sometimes it's characters that are not of the traditional Arabic. So you see words of it. It's just Jama, Ho-Hang, Avinar, Nativike, Chow-Yun.
Larry leans over to Quintus and says, I don't understand any of this.
Nor should you. These are nonsensical words.
Akraba.
Melanie's like smiling, nodding, very into it.
Bandulu. Sanak.
I kind of want Ryan to be like, and that's it.
Verwandtschaft. Shinzoku.
Did he really need a slide for each word?
So in kind of a weird like Michael Jackson black or white video way, the words also morph into the next one. It's not just like yeah.
Nice transitions.
Yeah.
I had to show him how to do that. He
Yeah,
kept
it's-
bothering me about it. He said it needed to look cool.
Karaba. Parenche. Radstvinik. Atiu. Karib. Prush. Familiares. Svajan.
For the audience, he's making the hand motion of clicking.
I
each
am.
slide
I'm clicking
as
the
he's
slide
going.
side. Shinshu. Many languages, one word. Kin.
You're like Z clears throat.
Larry.
So good.
Family, brotherhood. It's a group, a gathering. And this is what I want us to bring to this city with the new iteration of the dollhouse. I want to take this place that was dark, dank, and foreboding and make it something that's welcoming not just to Kindred, but to the people of Boston as well, to our respective
Chloe says,
clientele.
kin.
I propose a new menu. Appetizers, bites, soul food meets soul food, if you will.
Says the whitest guy in the face.
Exactly, yeah. Traditional meals from the deep south with the Asian flair. Bite size, easy to eat. Easy to move around, to mingle. A lot of open space. It's the main floor. There are, as he's clicking through it, it has the original what the dollhouse looked like before from images got, and then it clicks to a in progress what it looks like as now, and then a rendering of what it will look like when it's done. The main room, more open space, brighter, more welcoming to everyone, not just Kindred. From there, we'll go upstairs. We'll have a VIP room separate from the main floor with, again, a separate area for feeding that my man Z has set up with double security. You need the double security where one of our security staff and will have to key us in along with us, and then to key out.
Melanie raises her hand.
Yes.
She says, usually I can't go to like bars and clubs and stuff because I look like a kid. Will I be able to go to the second floor?
We'll answer questions at the end. Thank you, though. I like that. I like the initiative there. All right.
All right.
So we'll have the downstairs staff. Upstairs staff will be completely separate. Upstairs staff will be our have done a thorough background check on them. We'll have NDAs, so they will be in the know, and we'll keep them separate. That way to keep things safe and secure.
And Melanie, to answer your question, we'll have a side entrance for the second floor. All Kindred will have a tag. You'll be on the list as long as you don't make any trouble. You can tag your way up to the second floor and have fun.
She says, thank you.
Let's see. I'm trying to. He's clicking through cars. Chick. All right. I think that concludes our presentation. Thank you, Z, for popping in there, my man.
No problem.
Is there any other questions?
Chloe gets up and she says, actually not bad. And then she walks over to Larry and says, Fiona wants you to know that Santiago's actions are his own. She had nothing to do with what he's doing and doesn't approve of it either.
Oh. Thank you.
You don't know what I'm talking about, do you?
Do I?
No.
Okay.
She says, Google it. Santiago, find Sterling. Find Paige.
Oh.
And she leaves.
That sounds uncool.
Z immediately Googles that.
Yeah.
You find a news clip.
Z's a Google guy, huh?
He's a Google guy.
Wow.
No, he's a DuckDuckGo guy.
DuckDuckGo?
He's a DuckDuckGo guy.
Okay.
You find
I
a
was about to
news
say.
clip the news reporter, this young woman says, and a heartwarming story from Boston. As many of our viewers already know, the search for young Paige Sterling continues. Her family, the girl missing for a month now, and believed dead, although her family has not given up hope. Local superstar musician Santiago has decided to put on a benefit concert. You've got that right. You can see Santiago out of retirement in Boston Commons this weekend. It's free. Concert starts after dark. Check out the hashtag #FindPage for more information.
I wish the concert started earlier. Just saying.
Hijo de puta.
Well, that's gonna be a problem. What is he doing?
Larry, he's fucking with you.
Yeah. Larry says, this is about me. Santiago and I have history. I'm sorry to involve you.
No, man, don't be sorry. Because you're with us now. So,
See?
if he's fucking with you, he's fucking with all of us.
Mija is right. You're part of the familia now.
See, Larry's eyes a little bit like wide. He looked very extra grim at that as that news clip played. And he kind of looks from one of you to the other in turn. I don't know what to say, but thank you. I think maybe I need to have a talk with him.
See, you need any help, you just let us know.
I might.
Hey Javi, is your studio all set up? Your Taylor space, my man?
I see. Yes.
All right. I got a special project for you.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
What you got, my friend?
I'll show you. It's gonna be good. It's for the concert.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to change the order up a little bit here. Matt, let's check out the 5th floor. Javier, what's going on up there? What are you up to?
So the 5th floor is accessible via a private entrance. It has no connections to any of the other floors on the building. And as you open up the main door into the space, you see a large open room that has big, almost floor-to-ceiling windows looking out over the neighborhood. The walls are covered in murals by local artists. Some are street art, others are freeform scenes of nature and splashes of color. And as your eyes sort of scan the room, your attention is immediately drawn to this 25-foot round redwood table that sits in the middle of the room with this underlighting of a rainbow of LEDs. There are several workstations set up sort of around the room, around this table, and each looks like it's customized to their own sort of tailor or seamstress. They all have different themes and projects being worked on, and there are probably about a dozen refurbished high school lockers from local closed Boston schools around the room, and each is filled with threads and fabrics, tapes, yardsticks, and at each station there are tables with tailor's chalk, point presser, and clappers, sleeve rolls, tailor's ham, just everything you would need. There's dress forms, and as Javi walks through the studio, he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small remote and clicks a button, and there is sort of a crack in one of these colored murals on the wall that opens up to a door that he passes through. And as you enter his private studio, it is a very simple white room with a single accent wall that depicts a bamboo forest in Japan that is backlit to look as if the sun is rising in the distance. And off by the side of one of his tables is a larger, like a 6'4" dress form with what looks to be a alligator suit that he is currently working on for a client.
All right. You knew that you were getting a visitor today. He called ahead. So when one of your assistants brings him into your studio, you're not shocked. Leonidas Turst, the primogen of the Tremere clan, who you spoke to at the Elysium, comes in. Older man, white beard, out-of-date suit, played by Donald Sutherland. He smiles and shakes her hand. Says, "You've done a lot with the space in a short amount of time. Very nice."
I see. It helps to have, people on payroll that can do work for you.
Well, I decided I'd take you up on your offer.
I am very glad you did, sir.
I suppose you have to do measurements.
Yes, I do. Although it's been nearly 90 years I've been doing this, so I can do a little bit by eye, but it's always nice to get the fine details.
It's probably been that long since I've been fitted for a suit.
I wasn't going to say anything, but it's a little viejo. Come. Let me help you. Javi pulls out a tape and starts taking his measurements.
I wanted to warn you. Not too much trouble, but Sidney Thibault is not happy with you.
¿Por qué?
I believe it has something to do with some ghouls. You got to them before she could.
I see. She took a while. Wasn't sure how long they were gonna last. Seeing as she's new, didn't know if she will be able to use them properly, I guess.
Use them properly.
See, she seemed to think of them as pets.
That's unfortunate.
I agree.
She's young. You know, some of these neonates, the power goes to their head. They start thinking themselves more than human. Which I suppose we are, but it's important to remember that we're also less than human, yes? There are many things that we should admire in them.
See? If there's not, then we lose a little bit more of ourselves, no?
How much do you know about my clan, as you measure his arms?
Not much. I know what you can see in blood is more than just a food source.
Yes. But our history, do you know about our history? I mean, I suppose you've been around long enough to know that we're far less organized than we used to be.
See?
Our central power was located in a chantry which was destroyed by the Inquisition. Many elders of our clan were killed, and in the process, the bond that held our clan together was destroyed. You see, it was tradition back then that all members of our clan were bonded by blood to their sire. The Sabbat still do a similar thing. The blood bond can be a powerful thing. It's not quite love. It's more of an obsession. When I finally was broken out of it, I realized just how insidious it is. We lost our ability to blood bond other vampires when our chantry was destroyed. No one in my clan can do it. But we can still blood bond ghouls and humans. Sergei had those 2 women bound to him by his blood. They would have died for him, protecting him, even though I believe that once that blood is out of their system and it wears off, they'll remember just how much they actually hate him. Keep that in mind if they come here. They may want revenge.
Gracias. Does not make me feel good about what I do for them, but to see...
They'll be bound to you eventually, whether you want to or not. It simply happens when they feed on you often enough.
Nature.
It happens to vampires too. Feed off other members of your coterie and it'll start to happen.
Javi kind of stops taking a measurement for a second as he says that. Shifts
Except,
a little
course,
uncomfortably and
he
begins
says,
again.
except, of course, for Quintus. No need to worry about that from him.
No? How come?
Because he's Tremere. We no longer have the power to bond other vampires.
Okay. He has many skills, that one, huh?
As I told you at Elysium, I believe you know him now better than I do.
Well,
You are a strange person, Javier. A contradiction, sort of. I can see in you that desire, that grasp for power. Yet, you also seem to cling to your humanity more than most. I mean, I look around and I see charity simply for the sake of helping others.
see?
I don't think you can maintain both for long. A power like what you're looking for, control, it comes with a cost.
I'm beginning to understand that. But with the amount of time I've been here and hopefully the amount of time I have left, maybe the mark I leave on this place won't be so dark, huh?
I hope you're right.
Me too.
Javier, have you heard of a thing called Golconda?
God. ¿Qué? ¿Qué es?
Ask Quintus about it. I think you'll find it quite interesting. He looks over at the wall with the sunrise, and he says, perhaps someday we'll be able to see it again.
It is the greatest thing I miss.
And we'll fade out from there. Ryan,
Yeah.
you're driving.
All right.
You're on your way. Ethan and the gang go to a concert. I'm just going to sit back and...
All right. This is going to be sick. You guys are going to be so psyched about this.
This is the first time we've ever seen Larry inside the vehicle with the others.
Who's riding bitch?
Z's probably on the...
what is Larry wearing to the concert?
Larry has clean but worn dungarees and a denim jacket. The same outfit he wore to Elysium. His dress up clothes. And a large brimmed, kind of awkward looking hat.
All right.
You know, Larry, I can make something a little nicer. Maybe not as gaudy as Mijo, but something that makes you feel comfortable.
Speaking of Poppy, you think they're ready? The jackets come out okay?
Oh, see?
All right, let's...
What jackets?
this is
Espérate.
going to be sick.
Javi will
Break 'em
pull out
out.
a duffel bag.
Of Letterman jackets. With a schooner on the back that is named Kin. and names on the front. So
A schooner?
like a
boat?
It's a giant. It's the kinship. Get it? And your name.
Oh
And,
boy!
we put your names on the front.
Yeah, I don't like going around advertising my name there.
I just put a letter. It just says Z.
All right.
I mean, we could have put Ezra on there, buddy, but we didn't.
You don't know my name.
I don't.
Larry looks like
Maybe I do. I don't know.
if he had to still breathe, he would be hyperventilating. I don't know what the vampire equivalent it is, but he looks a little bit scared. Mm-hmm. He already looked uncomfortable going into this, and now he's looking at the jackets and he like around at everyone, and he's kind of like, I don't know what's happening.
Javi, these are nice. You can wear them.
Don't have to. You don't have to be nice. It's good seamstress work, but
It's not everyone's thing. I get it. I just thought it would be cool that we could all like have these because we're kind of a crew now, right? Like back at Harvard, my old when I was in one of the final clubs, we all had like matching jackets. I mean, those were blazers with a like kind of weird like snake and skull. I'm not going to get into that so much, but I thought it would be cool if we all had matching jackets as kind of a signifier of our camaraderie. So you don't have to wear them. I'm going to wear mine because I think it looks boss, but
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
See, think of it as more of a token of appreciation.
Yeah, thank you, Poppy. Yeah.
I don't know how Larry looks like Lou Reed. I don't think Lou Reed was a big guy, but Larry is. He's like 6'3", maybe 6'4", very lanky. And he takes it and he kind of looks at it for a while. And then he awkwardly in the back seat starts taking off his denim jacket and he puts it on.
Quintus helps you put it on.
He puts it on and kind of straightens it. He gives you a very forced smile, Ethan. It's really, I like it.
Gracias.
This is something that I may wear at the club. Yes.
You can wear it. You can wear it, not wear it. Entirely up to you. Mm-hmm. It is more of a symbol than an article of clothing
I
per se.
appreciate the symbol.
All right.
Are we not wearing them?
Where are we going again?
We're going to the Paradise Rock Club to see Bandmaid.
And explain more about Bandmaid?
Bandmaid is an all-female Japanese metal group who dress as maids.
Right.
Yep.
All right. Fantastic.
More Coke, please. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, Javi's wearing it is a cream colored linen suit it's kind of sheer, and you can see underneath it is a wife beater. And he takes off his cream colored coat, and if any of you are able to get a sight of his back from underneath the wife beater, you see this very intricate Asian-styled tattoo. It looks like you can catch the edge of what looks like some scales on a rounded form and some cherry blossoms off on one of his shoulders as he puts on his Letterman jacket.
You can probably all, because Javi's 100% riding shotgun, so you probably all catch a glimpse of that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if everyone's going to wear one, as he kind of resigns himself and puts the jacket on.
Okay.
Sick.
You pull up outside the Paradise and the valet takes your car. You're brought to the front of the line where you people here. They say, Mr. Crane?
Yeah. Hey man, how's it going? I think we're in the right box tonight.
Yep.
Yeah.
He gives you an elaborate handshake, fist pump, blow it up
There's
thing.
18 faces to it. Yeah.
And then you all follow him into the club. And that's where we'll stop.
Fan-made. Amazing.
Nice work,
Dope.
guys. Some cool scenes, I think.
Yeah.
Fan-made sounds
Yeah, I
like
like
the
how that
beginning to
went.
like half the animes I've seen.
Thank you for listening to the Boston Masquerade on the Nastagram RPG podcast. Now we'd love to hear more from you. Find and follow us online. We are at Nastagram RPG on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook.com/Nastagram, or the Nastagram RPG Lounge for our community on Facebook, r/Nastagram on Reddit, and at Nastagram 2053 on YouTube. Or just go to the website, NastagramRPG.com, and you can link out to all those sites there. If you don't mess around with any of that social media bullshit, good on you. We'd still love to hear from you. Email us at nastagrampod@gmail.com. And finally, no matter what, we would beg, implore, and plead you to rate and review us, preferably at Apple Podcasts or whatever it is they call iTunes these days. And also just talk about us. Talk about us with your friends, anybody that you think would appreciate tabletop RPGs, or just telling good stories. Thanks again, and we will see you next Tuesday.
That's nasty.
Met with at La Sombra. Lydia Marlowe. Seems she saw. Wow.
She saw seashells by the seashore.
Fuck. Seems she shot. Wow, holy fuck. Seems she saw. Sheems
Shaw.
What the
Going
fuck?
on the reel.
100%.
What the fuck?
Dan's so excited it's not him.
Seems she saw.